Do you remember as a kid what you wanted to do when you got older?
I'm still trying to find out what I want to do.
As a kid, I wanted to just work in civil service. My dad was Air Force, and so I knew about civil service work, and I felt like having worked in the military as a teenager doing help, I always wanted to be working in civil service and just be rich. That was my plan. I had no plans to do anything else. I don't even think I thought about school or kids or wanting to be married. I just wanted to be rich and work for civil service. And of course, none of that happened. Everything opposite happened.
I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah, pilot.
Garbage man. When I was little, I'd see the garbage man come by, and he seemed to be able to go everywhere.
Probably be a video game developer.
I've always been big into video games as a result of my uncles. As a kid, I always wanted to get into video game design. I always thought that was an interesting idea.
Well, as a young kid, I wanted to do video game design.
I had so many different things I wanted to do as a kid. So a lawyer was one of them.
We're gonna go with the politically correct answer here. I wanted to be a lawyer.
When I was young, in high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. There was this series called Paper Chase that I used to watch. It was an HBO series. Well, the whole thing was about people going to law school and going through the years and seeing it, and I loved it. Wanted to do that.
And that kind of came sarcastically from the fact that I could and would argue with people pretty regularly, namely my parents. I was like, man, you know what? I could win arguments all day long. I might as well get paid for it. I should be a lawyer.
I mean, I love arguing. I really do. But, I mean, the amount of, really truly the amount of time that you have to put into that type of career. I also love programming, and programming gives me kind of more of an instant gratification.
And then I would have been probably family law, and I probably would have taken on troubled kids, in their teens. Because I don't know, I think if you get them early, I think everybody is capable of change, and I think when they get into that mess and they're at that level where they need a lawyer, and that's life-changing. So, and I've seen that. That's probably I probably would have been poor, but it would have been worth it. Pretty much the same as I am now.
I wanted to be a marine biologist. I wanted to swim with Shamu, and I was convinced that that's what I was going to do. For sure.
I thought I wanted to be a vet.
I wanted to be an OB-GYN.
Okay. Or a doctor when I got kind of into middle schoolish.
I wanted to be a doctor. That's the funny part.
What kind of doctor?
Nothing specific, just a doctor. Yeah.
I wanted to be a nurse.
As I always thought I was going to be a dentist.
Why did you decide not to pursue that?
Too much school.
Yeah.
I learned very quickly that school's not for me.
I graduated high school and I thought college, man, this ain't for me. No way.
I got my bachelor's and was out of there.
Were you out of there though when you got your bachelor's?
I was out of there after I went back for one semester of my master's, and thinking I got a little bit more education left in me, and I did one semester of my master's and didn't do well at all.
I decided to go in the military. Stayed in the military for 20 years, but the whole time I was assigned as a dental tech, I tried to do everything I could to get out of it. And because after you have your hands in people's mouths and they tell you how much they hate coming to see you, and everything you do is painful, and then their breath stinks, after a while, and you're bending over, and you just say, I was like, no, this isn't the career for me.
I also myself find entertainment, some type of entertainment, something. I was an athlete, that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? I did music for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Did a little touring and stuff. It was mostly just be out there on camera, you know what I'm saying?
I don't really remember. I used to watch basketball a lot, so maybe something like that, but I'm not tall enough.
I want to be a basketball player. Easy.
What happened to that dream?
It's still ongoing. No, I mean, you always have other passions and stuff. Not quite physically build, but still play. Still think I'm pretty good.
I went to Catholic school at St. Henry's, and so one of the things they try to do when you're going to Catholic school, they try to recruit you to be a priest or a nun or what have you. And so at that time, I guess I was 11 or 12, and I said, maybe I'll be a priest. And thank God it went out of my head, because you wouldn't be here. Oh, it wasn't for me, because I like girls. Don't tell grandma that.
I know when you're really young, you think about you want to be something big. I know when I was really young, I thought I always wanted to be an astronaut. Don't know why, but I just wanted to be an astronaut.
Wanted to be a first responder and be able to help others. I think as a kid, that's always been my goal in my jobs or career, is to be able to help others. So I wanted to be a cop, I wanted to be a firefighter, EMT or paramedic.
As a kid, from very early on, I knew that I wanted to be a police officer. Like, there was no question in my mind that was the most consistent thing that I wanted to do as a kid. Growing up playing Need for Speed, there was a game called Streets of LA where you could play as a cop. Like, I was just always really fascinated with being a cop. Of course, I didn't pursue that career field, but there's tons of other stuff too, though. Being a limousine driver, I don't know why. Maybe it's the long car, the badass cars, I don't know. It's always kind of mostly been about being a cop.
And then as I got a little bit older, got married, had kids, then I was like, okay, I want to be a teacher. Seeing everything that was going on in the school system, and I was like, I could be a really good teacher.
And then as I got a little bit older, not really as a kid, but I started going to school for English. I was going to be an English professor, actually. So I wanted to teach.
I always wanted to teach. Not everybody does know what they want to do when they're young, but I knew from the very beginning, from when I was a little girl, I wanted to teach children, and I wanted to help others. Now, first I thought I wanted to be a history teacher because I was very interested in events, and the past and what we could learn from them. But then when I started having my kids, and I really wanted to learn more about how children grow and develop, and so I got into early childhood, and then the rest is history. I started teaching over about 45 years, and I loved it. So I was fortunate.
But life and everything else, I just stayed at USAA pretty much just to pay bills. But if I could do it again, I don't know. I probably would have tried law school first.
People used to ask me that all the time, and you're like, what do you want to be when you grow up, a firefighter or a police officer? And I was like, I don't know. I guess just, I don't know, I guess just be happy.